folks, thanks for stopping by. Welcome back. I thought today I would get around to finally unboxing the Puerto Rico Deluxe Edition from Awaken Realms. We got this about a month ago. Haven't had a chance to open it yet because we've been on vacation and the house has been under remodel, which explains the unfinished walls and windows behind me. But we're finally going to get to it and take a look today. But before I do that, I want to show you the new GameToppers tabletop that we got. That came in about 2 months ago, and we have only got to use it once so far, but looking forward to a lot of good gameplay with it. So let's take a look at that. This is a Mycroft tabletop from GameToppers, and we've got it set up with the center section removed, so it's just a smaller square. It doesn't take up quite as much space, and we just put the center leaf in when we have extra people. This is the smaller mat that goes with that setup, and it has artwork from Vincent Dutrait. We also got 2 mats as part of the Kickstarter that we'll lay in here when you have the leaf in place. So the frame rails are aluminum, and those rails are connected by these plastic corner pieces that screw into the ends. And then in the center, there is a piece that slides into place and locks so that it holds the whole thing together. Our table does have a little bit of a manufacturing issue. This little joint slides freely here in this section, but it will not go into this one. It appears that the table is warped a little bit in this channel, and so we're going to have to modify probably the slider so that it will slip in. So other than that little issue, we've been really happy with it. We've been able to play for the last couple of years on Sam Healy's table, who's in our game group from Flipside of Board Games, formerly from the Dice Tower. And we really enjoyed it, so decided that this was a worthwhile expense for playing our games at home. Anyway, let's get on to the unboxing. Okay, we're back. Let's see if I can get this thing open without damaging myself or the contents. Okay, next step is to get my glasses on so I can actually see what we're pulling out of here. I feel kind of dwarfed by this box, but I got the camera set up high there just so you can see what's coming out. Comes with a special edition of San Juan, the card game that's based on Puerto Rico. This is a game that I have played quite a few times. We have it on an app electronically. I don't have a physical copy, but this is featuring all new artwork. I think the gameplay is pretty much the same, so that will be fun to get back into again. And a playmat. This playmat, I can see the outline of boats, so I believe this is going to be the harbor location, and other components for the Puerto Rico game, different cards that are available, cards and tokens. And I have to be honest, I played Puerto Rico once, probably 15 years ago, and didn't really like it, so I got rid of it. And I'm just hoping that now that I've gotten more experience playing games, understand mechanics a little better, and with this deluxe version, it will change my opinion about the game. I know it's kind of a big investment for trying to change an opinion, but there's a lot of people who like this game, and it should be for a reason. So I'm going to find out what that reason is. We have the typical welcome letter that comes every time Awaken Realms puts out a new edition. This is a box with all of the acrylic tokens. So, resources and buildings, all in acrylic. I can see they've got coffee, corn, tobacco, sugar, fruit, and the quarry tokens in green. We've got tokens for all of the different abilities or people that you're going to be using, the craftsman, captain, trader, recruiter, builder, so on. And then tiles for all of the buildings. Just fantastic artwork on everything with this game. That was one of the things that sold me on it. It just is a piece of art. What do we have here? Looks like cards of some sort. Oh, those are sleeves, card sleeves. Okay, so they've got a back with artwork on it, clear on the front. And that's going to be the same with this. Different artwork on it, clear on the front. On this side, we have the terrain pack. This box includes all of the commercial buildings, production buildings, and expanded commercial buildings as 3D sculpts. So I've heard comments from people that these buildings tend to get in the way of the game. You can't see as well. But I really enjoy playing with miniature constructions like this. So I think I'm willing to give up a little bit of visibility, stand up if I need to, move something around if I need to, in order to enjoy that deluxe experience. And then here is the main Puerto Rico game. That is a very hefty box. And in this is going to be all of the miniatures for the people in the game, as well as the boats. Looks like player boards, resources, etc. And in the very bottom of the box, it comes with an art book. I could take it or leave it, but some people really enjoy these, and I'm sure I'll look through it. The artwork is going to be enjoyable one time through, but after that it'll sit on a shelf. All right, let's get this packaging out of the way, and then we will take a closer look at the game itself. And we are back. Time for more work with the knife. Okay, let's see what we've got hiding inside here. Come on, let go. Start off with a rule book. That is very heavy paper with a light linen finish to it. It's not as glossy as most rule books are. This is much more of a matte finish to the paper, but looks like great illustrations and examples with everything. Player aids. So this is, looks like there's quite a few of them in here, but there's all the explanations of what the buildings do and their costs and so forth. This is the cardboard version of the playmat that you saw. So this may or may not be used depending on the circumstances. It's double-sided. I don't know if you caught that with the mat, but this is a horizontal layout. This is a vertical layout, just depending on what your table space is. Couple mats. Okay, these are mats for the solo play. So I am not a solo gamer, probably won't get much use out of those. And we've got a stack of punch boards here in shrink. Another one of my favorite things, instructions on how to put everything back in the box. And dual-sided player mats. They are all unique. I can see that the cutouts across the top that kind of trace the outline of the picture are all different for these boards. Excuse me, and there are 5 boards in here. It's a 5-player game, so all of the tokens, the acrylic tokens and the pieces are going to fit nicely into those, I'm sure. Here's a look at the individual player boards. As I mentioned, each one of them has got a unique shape and unique artwork. If I can do this one-handed. This isn't something that really was necessary for gameplay. It's just something to make it interesting and attractive. Another example of Awaken Realms just going above and beyond to make a premium game. Now we're getting down into some of the miniatures. And let's start off with the boats. Look at the ships. So they've got little cutouts, indentations for the cargo pieces to go into them. But that is a lot of detail there. They've got a wash on them, so the details of the wood stand out really nicely. I don't know how well you can see that. We'll do some close-ups of all of the components. Here's another building with cutouts for the resource cubes. These pieces sit on the back of the boat. Not knowing the game, I can't remember if this extends their cargo capacity for sure. Anyway, we'll have to read the instructions, figure out how those go together. All right, here's a closer look at the ships. And I figured out the decks. I looked in the rule book, and you will slot in different decks depending on the player count. Spin this around so we can see a little better. So you'll see here we've got decks that are able to hold a variety of sizes of cargo, a number of cargo. And so depending on your player count, you'll slot in one that either, maybe holds nothing or one or several more. So there's 0 to 4 slots on these 5 decks. That may be a first player token. It's got an inkwell with a feather pen and a parchment on it. And these are the resource cubes. Now, typically in the original game, as I recall, they were painted wooden cubes. These are 3D sculpts. So this is probably sugar cane. And in the other baggies here, I can see we've got tobacco leaves. We've got, is that quarried stone probably? We have bananas, or fruit. And we have corn. We'll take a closer look at those shortly. Here we have a look at the first player token and a couple of the buildings along with the resources. So you can see we have tobacco, fruit, sugar, and corn, along with the quarry resources. Lots of detail on these buildings. They look fantastic with the wash on them, but really intricate detail work on some of these. And this tray doesn't have anything in it, but this is for all of the acrylic tiles. So you can pull this out to play the game and everything is already set up, ready to go. Then the final boxes in here, we've got individual player components. With all of the miniatures. I won't even try to show you those here. We'll look at those closely in a little bit, but all of the different sculpts for your people that you're putting out. There are 21 of those. All right, it's time to take a look at some minis. Take a look at the detail on these guys. Absolutely gorgeous. So cool. I don't know what they all do yet, but I'm sure we're going to find out. Okay, the deck of cards, tokens, coins, there's metal coins in there, and another board for acrylic tiles at the bottom. So we will get into all of this here shortly. Here's a look at the metal coins. Got just a little bit of a patina on them, thanks to a wash, I guess. But nice weight to them. Great detail. They're not as heavy maybe as some coins, but I think they're just great. Gonna be perfect. Okay, we'll take a look at the acrylic tokens next. So if you're not a fan of miniatures, this is what you're going to tend to use. Instead, these tiles go out on the board and they don't obstruct your view of anything. There's a look at the tray, holding all of the different tiles. These are the building tiles, and one of them has gotten loose and is floating around in there. More tiles, building tiles. They're got a pretty good thickness to them. I would say there's probably 1/8 of an inch thick. Every one of them has just amazing artwork on them. And I will have to read the instructions to find out the difference. I think there's a white side that comes that gives you the text about what the building does. And then if you're familiar with the game and you want more of an artistic look, they've removed the text and just have more art on the back. Beautiful, absolutely amazing. I think that will be enjoyable no matter which way we play, with or without the miniature buildings. Let's see what we've got here for the tiles. So this is an example of the tiles. This one is for fruit. This one is for sugar. Again, the same thickness of tile. Make sure I got those in the right spot. Sugar over here, fruit over here, and then the gray quarry tiles. So again, all of these trays you can just pull out and set up around your board space, and you're ready to play. Here's a look at the acrylic tiles if you choose to play with these instead of the actual buildings. Gorgeous artwork on those, and as I mentioned before, there's a front and a back. If you already know the game well enough, you know what the buildings do, you can just flip it over to the artwork side, or you can use the side that indicates what is going on in the game. And again, the tray with the different resource tiles, screen printed picture on those to indicate what it's for. on the back side of it tells what it actually is for. They all have the same picture on one side, but on the front they show what it is, and they show a location for the worker to be placed. And then these are the tiles for the specific actions that you're choosing. Okay, time to get into the buildings. Let's see what these look like. I'm trying to remember now if this was if there was an option for a sun drop wash on these. I believe there was. So let's be surprised together. More instructions on how the buildings go into the box. As well as the miniatures for the tiles, so that your plants are actually three-dimensional instead of just green tiles on the board. So in here we've got the quarries. Those have got piles of stone. This is going to be the sugar cane. The tobacco is on drying racks. The fruit is on little banana trees. We have corn stalks. And what was the other resource? I don't remember what that one was offhand. These are the resource tiles to go on the player boards, and you can see each one of these has a socket that a worker is going to be able to set into, the miniature workers. Again, just beautiful detail on these racks of tobacco, piles of stone. We've got the fruit trees and the sugar cane. We've got corn growing in the background. And I assume those must be palms. Not sure what resource those produce. To look back in the rules again. And now to the buildings. Yes, these do have a wash on them. Very cool. We'll take closer looks at these, but here's some examples. Cool looking chimneys on that one. Great detail on all of these. Really, really nice looking, as you would expect from Awaken Realms. That's the first tray. These are, looks like some of the larger buildings. That one's really cool with the arch between the two buildings. And some smaller buildings. We got a little one with a thatched roof there, a little steeple on the end. That's probably a church. So yeah, these are pretty neat looking. That one must be some kind of a, oh, I bet this is a school. It's got a little flag flying off the top of it. Yeah, that will be fun to get to the table and see how it all looks. And here's a look at a few of the buildings. I'm not going to show all of them, but these are just some that caught my attention. Just kind of look especially attractive in the box, or unique features. Just an example of what the detail is looking like on these. Just absolutely exquisite. Yes, I realize it's going to interfere with sight lines on the game board, but wow, it is going to look fantastic at the end of the game. All right, folks, that's going to do it for my unboxing of Puerto Rico Special Edition from Awaken Realms. Hopefully that's given you some good information. If you want to pick this up, secondhand or on the retail market, that maybe will give you an idea of what you'd be getting into and whether it's worthwhile, or whether it's a good fit for you. But I would expect you're probably going to pay a bit for it. You'll just have to decide whether this premium experience is worth the money for you. Hopefully it is for me. Like I said, I haven't tried this game in a long time, but I'm hoping now that I know a little bit more about the board gaming hobby and mechanisms and so forth, this one's going to make a little more sense and be a little more enjoyable with all of the premium pieces to it. So hopefully that was some good information for you. Don't worry about leaving likes or subscribes or anything like that. I'm not trying to build up this channel. I'm just enjoying the board game hobby and hope to share it with people that might be interested. All right, have a great day and thanks again. We'll see ya.